Imagine sitting in front of your high school yearbook, flipping through page after page and realizing you don't exist in any of them. Not one photo, not one mention, as if you were never there at all. Well, that was me at age 17. And in that moment, I had made a decision that would change the course of my life, where I refused to remain invisible any longer. Now, life hadn't always been that way. Until I was 7, I was a relatively happy child. Then my mother experienced the first of several breakdowns that led to suicide attempts and hospitalizations over the next couple of years. And my father, while he did his best as an army doctor, he couldn't balance his career and his home life at the same time. So my brothers and I were taken in by my grandparents in Houston, who, while providing stability, they kept us rambunctious boys in line through physical, verbal, and emotional trauma. And that left scars that impacted our lives long after they were dead. On top of that, I was a sensitive child who cried easily. I had feelings that I couldn't understand, and with no role models to help me navigate what I would later recognize as my gay identity, I didn't know what to do. And at school, I then became the target of merciless bullying from the fourth through the sixth grade, the same kids year after year, and they had found I was an easy target. That same group of children took turns daily humiliating me, slapping me, knocking me down, tripping me, making fun of me, getting a great laugh, while I lived in perpetual fear at school as well as at my grandparents' home, and there was no escape in sight for years. By junior high, I had developed a survival strategy, though. I learned to become invisible. Because I trusted no one at that point in my life, I would attend classes and rush home immediately, right afterwards, watching TV, eating junk food, getting fat, and hating my experience and not wanting to continue my life. This went on for more than 5 long years. Then came that pivotal moment with my yearbook. My mother, feeling better at that point, was very concerned about my isolation and pleaded with me. She said, "Your senior year is the best of your life. Do something with it." I thought cynically, if this is the best it gets, I might as well just end it now. But something did click in me, and I realized I didn't want to be forgotten. I wanted to matter, even though I thought at the end of my life, no one will ever know I existed. I was determined to try to make some change. So I crafted a plan for my senior year to go from being a nobody to being popular. Despite being the short, insecure kid with acne, braces, who always went around wearing windbreakers, I was that weird kid. And unlike Elphaba in Wicked, I had no Glinda to help me learn to be popular. Although that would have been fun. Popular, you're gonna be popular. Well, I was gonna have to figure that out myself. I joined the Spanish and French clubs. I joined the drama club and the choral group. I even auditioned for the spring musical and actually landed a lead role. I resurrected the defunct science club and promising more field trips and experiments than any other club in the school's history, which I delivered on. Thanks to my dad's enormous suburban van, we went on 7 major field trips around Houston during that year. And as president of the science club, I even got a position on the student council. So you really didn't have to be popular to do that. I joined the school newspaper, and by year's end, I appeared in dozens of photos all over the 1978 yearbook. Of course, it didn't hurt that I'd also joined the yearbook committee that year too. But this transformation was remarkable. But there was one problem. That person wasn't real. That character that I had created easily fell apart after graduation, once I'd gone off to a major college like UT where I became invisible again. It took almost a decade before I could come out and begin forging true friendships for the first time in my life. But by my mid-20s, I had built a large support network, only to watch it be decimated by the AIDS pandemic. And over the next decade, I'd lost hundreds of friends. I was widowed twice. I became weary the constant presence of death, even as my work as one of the country's first HIV educators provided a sense of purpose during those dark days as I counted down when I would be the next one to die. It was my reality at the time. And during that period, I promoted and attended countless seminars on the meaning of life and death as we all searched for answers. And by my mid-30s, I was finally discovering tools for thriving through hardship, using affirmations, attitude adjustments, and practices for genuine happiness. Then came the turning point. In 1996, I was forced into a course that changed everything. I learned from this More to Life weekend that this biocomputer of my brain had been filled with a lot of bad data. I learned to gain some control over my reactions to these uncontrollable events that were happening constantly in my life. After intensive study, I began learning how to replace the negative unconscious patterns with healthier perspectives that led to seeing life and people more clearly and making more constructive decisions. It felt like I'd finally found the user manual for getting the best results in my life. So, how did I break free from this prison? It's not easy to dismantle these protective walls that I'd built in my childhood, and they were pretty high walls. But I came to realize the walls that I built to protect myself as a child became a prison that confined me as an adult. My actions were built on lies that I was telling myself, which I had to find a way to replace with newfound truths. I am strong but vulnerable. I am brave, yet I acknowledge my fears. My intent is to be open, trusting, and loving toward others, even when my mind plays tricks on me. I learned to stand in my truth, imperfect as it is, and to practice these tenets daily. Sometimes forgetting to do that and getting back to it after a while, but I always know that even though I make mistakes, all I need to do is forgive myself and course correct. Because ultimately, it's not about the destination, it's about this journey in life. So today, I am more forgiving and kinder to myself than ever before. And even though I do forget at times, because we're all human, I've gained more freedom from the controls of my own mind. And I'm passionate about helping others to find these same gifts that can lead us to greater peace and happiness. That is why I dedicate my life to teaching and facilitating others through Toastmasters, corporate training, and interpersonal skills, and especially with my work in the More to Life Foundation. This year, I'm stepping further into the work to help others find a way to heal emotionally as I did, and make choices that lead to greater happiness and a sense of fulfillment. Starting in June, I'll lead an in-person Saturday self-esteem enhancement course in my hometown of Bastrop, Texas. That invisible boy staring down at his empty yearbook could never have imagined that journey ahead. From building walls to tearing them down, from hiding in fear to helping others to find courage, from being invisible to being impactful. We are our own jailers, living in a prison of our own making. Yet the keys to freedom are within us all. I encourage you to join me. Thank you.